Good evening and salutations, my Days of Elias fans. I really like this episode. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what the hell they're doing with GH at this point. I really don't. I know a lot of people saying this thing they need new writers. They need something. They need a flame lit under their asses because GH has been trash lately and Days has been killing it. And I always sit there and think back to the height of GH. And I can imagine my future self telling my past self, hey, just that you know, I really think you should watch Days. My past self would be like, are you out of your mind? What are you nuts? But my future self would be like, yeah, well, I don't know what it was like early days, but the tides has definitely shifted. Um, Going into this episode, at this point, no, that's good. I'll start with that first. Um, Going into this episode, you knew right away there was not going to have Stefan see Gabby or Gabby see Stefan. So what they wound up doing, after a while, Ava got the door. Saw Stefan, thought he was Jake. After sitting there checking to make sure that it was real and she wasn't dreaming, she passed out. Now, Shen, gets a text from Ralph and he gets there, he's like, what happened? What happened? He literally just had a heart transplant. What happened? How did you just lose him? And so he's pissed off, and Ralph tells him, most likely he's looking for Gabby at the mansion. So he gets down there. Ava faints, and Stefan's like, "Yo, you okay? Is everything all right?" He's like, "Yo, I don't got time for this." So he just kind of lays her down, and I guess he's about to go inside, but of course he gets stopped by Shen. Shen drags his body to some bush or whatever, and then comes back in there. Now, of course, Gabby walks in and she's like, "Yo, what the hell is going on?" And she sees Shen and she's like, what the hell are you doing here? Shen tells Gabby not to, call the cops or whatever because, she has a big, she doesn't want to be fussed over, especially by the cops. And, Gabby's like, okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense. No, that really does not make sense, but okay, sure, whatever. So she wakes up, and and Ava's like, I saw Jake. Jake is alive, this, that, and the third. And Shin is like, he has that look like she's probably going through something during an episode or whatever. And of course, at this point, Gabby doesn't believe her. EJ comes into his house. Now, EJ had a talk. He had a really good conversation with Abe. I actually like this scene. I like this scene, and I know that some people may find it kind of boring. The reason why I like this scene is because EJ, a lot of times, he's portrayed as this devil, you know, mean and spiteful and just kind of filled with rage, especially the way he was not there treating Sammy, which, I mean, I don't like Sammy, but like he used words that I'm just surprised they let fly in this show. Okay. But when he was with Abe, he was very more human. They talked about Lexi. Apparently, I don't know if Lexi was Demara or whatever, because they talk about how their family. And so they talk about that, talk about Jake and everything, and talk about him being mayor. Governor. And apparently they ran back in the day to be mayor. But, EJ kind of recognized, like, he has a lot of passion and conviction, and he really believes in what he's doing, and he's always trying to do good by the people. And it shows, as far as Salem is concerned. And so, EJ was like, yo, listen, I want you to run. Of course, EJ does says, it's nice to actually have friends in high places. So it was a bit of a little, okay, it's not totally, I guess, altruistic, but the fact of the matter is, like, he really believed that he can do some good being governor. And I'm like, bro, if you got EJ Smith there telling you to be governor, I mean, granted, he may want something in it, but his words felt honest. And if EJ is backing you up and can admit that, I've fought, but you were the better man, then maybe you should probably be, governor at this point. Like, if he's backing you, you know that this is your calling. But after that, he does go back. And one of the conversations he was having was talking about Ava and her mental stability and how they're going back and forth. And Ava's like, "Yo, you got to be careful because this chick was like, this chick is not somebody you want to sit there and push too far. You don't want to do that. Like, you don't want to do that." So when he gets back to the house, and Ava's talking about, "Oh, I saw Jake." He's like, she seems like she's having one of her episodes. Okay. So he tells both, Shannon and Gabby to go and leave, and I'll take care of this. And he tries to have a more softer approach. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I was acting like an ass and everything like that." Um, says some kind words, and she kind of goes upstairs. Now, April was sitting there thinking about the conversation she had with Gabby, as far as when Gabby first met Stefan, and it was very tension and animosity, then it turned into passion, everything like that. So when he held out his hand, as a sign of let's shake on this or whatever, she was like, "Mm-mm, not going down that route." She was like, "Nope, I'm going to bed. I'm good." She just went right in there. Um, that would be interesting. A pairing between Ava and AJ. That'd be something. That'd be something. Because at this point, the whole thing with Belle just didn't really work out. I don't even know if it was ever really meant to work out, if we're going to be completely honest. Um, so I'm still, at this point, I'm still wondering, all right, so who is EJ's love interest going to be? Because it's clearly not going to be Sammy. Because, well, let's be honest, she doesn't really stay on the show too long. Um, and I feel like at that point, they may wind up running into the same problem that they had with Marcy. From what I understood, that she wanted to stay on the show, but she wanted to be like fully committed, and it really wouldn't have made any sense. So I can totally see why they're not doing a whole Sammy and EJ thing again. Um, so it'll be interesting to see where it goes. Now, Orpheus comes to the door, and Marlene is about to sit there and shut it, but he has a gun at this point. So he's like, "Yo, listen." Yeah, he comes in with a door, with a gun, with a door. He comes in with a gun, and he practically barges his way on in. He's like, "All right, listen, we're gonna sit there and take a trip somewhere." So after talking for a little bit, um, they agree. They're like, "All right, listen, we're just gonna go quietly." One thing leads to the next, and Marlena grabs a gun and knees him in the nuts, and somebody takes a vase and bops him over the head, and they're about to sit there and run out the door. Of course, they don't get that far because they got two, he has two giant bodyguard security guards, with him to make sure. He's like, "Yeah, listen, I learned my lesson from last time. Both of y'all could be very feisty." So at this point, he kidnaps them. Now, of course, Steve and John got egg on their face. It turns out the mystery client was Paulina. Paulina wanted to keep it on the wraps. This is why she was like, wanting to remain anonymous. So Stephanie's upset, and Paulina's like, "Listen, I'm not gonna sit there and be upset with them because of the lengths that she would go to protect her own daughter." So she was pretty much like, "You still got the job." They left, They get back to the place, they get back to the house, and of course they realize that it's trashed. And when John is about to make a call, Steve sees a note on the ground, from Orpheus saying, listen, whatever you're about to do as far as making that call, don't do it. Meet me X, Y, and Z. Now, I'm going to be completely honest. I'm not saying that they're rushing it, but like this dude hasn't been out of jail that long, and already he's planning to kidnap it. I don't know why, but I feel like I don't know. I feel like it would have. I don't know why, but I feel like not. I'm not. Here's the thing. This is actually pretty good. Okay, we didn't have to sit there and wait weeks and weeks and weeks and months and months and months before Orpheus decided to do whatever his big plan was to do. But I would sit there and say he seems kind of fast. Okay, he literally did this whole part in and everything like that to get himself out. Now we obviously know that he's going to get into some trouble at some point, but this seems kind of fast. I'm not complaining, especially seeing how GH is just kind of dragging his ass. So, it is what it is. Now, Paulina and Stephanie, um, reality, I think that both name is actually called Stephanie. Like even like on both, like B&B, like they call her Steffi, but in reality, I'm pretty sure her name is Stephanie. Anyway, so Stephanie and Paulina wind up meeting up with Abe. And, Paulina's like, I think you should be governor. I think you should be governor. And I feel like the push was made by EJ. And he's like, all right, yeah, let's run. So he's gonna run for governor. Um, I'm interested to see how that's gonna play out because, you know, um, John and Marlena was there talking about how if he runs the state, state governor, he's gonna be on the road a lot. He's not gonna be in Salem. So I'm kind of curious to sit there and see how they're going to do that. I guess they're going to start with their focus groups or whatever. But I mean, if they're really going to push this story as far as him, um, going from state to state or whatever, or just being on the road, then it's a good chance we're probably not going to really see him as much. I feel like that's about it. I mean, yeah, there's a point where Gabby does get back when I'm meeting up with Shen. And, Gabby's like, yo, you never really told me what you were doing there. And I don't know, Gabby. The way that Gabby's not there believing in some of the stuff that Shin is saying, it just like, Shin was like, oh, well, I was there because I want to back you up, and I know how personal and animosity it is between y'all two, and, I want to sit there and just have your back, and, she's all like, oh, that's sweet. And I'm just like, I mean, really? First, you had Roth that was at Shin's, in Shin's room, and then you just miraculously show up, and what? Now he's just concerned, and he, you need backup or whatever. So he panicked. He panicked. This man looked like he panics over anything. But I get it. It's plot. So, it is what it is. I don't know. I feel like I'm forgetting something and I can't think of what it is. I feel like I kind of covered everything, but I can always be wrong. So if I missed anything, let me know in the comment section. With that being said, well, it's not really something I missed, but it came out a little bit later because usually sometimes I watch days on YouTube. But the YouTube video is sometimes a little kind of crappy and everything like that. And I think I got done at like 7:30, so I was like, you know what, listen, I could just wait until 8 o'clock and then just, watch it. And I'm watching a better, clean version. I know that there's a site that you can watch it on. By the time I finish watching GH and everything like that, and I felt like the YouTube one wasn't going to be as bad, but then it started like really clipping, and I started missing certain things that they were saying, and I was like, you know what, screw it. I already paid for Peacock at this point. It's gonna start to earn its keep. So apologies for the video coming a little bit more later, but as a fan of this show, I want to kind of watch it in a more, HD quality. So with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe, and I will see everyone in the next video.